We often see the messes that influencers get themselves into, but we rarely see the steps it took for them to rise to fame. More importantly, we rarely hear from their friends and family about how insufferable their household influencer becomes once getting some clout. This video is based on some anonymous accounts posted to Reddit about what it's like knowing an influencer in real life. Coming number 10, dating an influencer. Dating an influencer can be difficult because they've essentially transformed their personal life into a means of making money. So most things they do in life have to be captured and posted for their fans to enjoy and to bring in sponsorship deals. One user on Reddit told a story about what it was like to date an influencer and said, "I dated one, not super popular, but followers in the 100K range last time he spoke. I remember a lot of getting ignored and only receiving nice gifts or acts of kindness when they could post about it. Asking me to go to nice places they didn't drive, only to leave me on a bench somewhere while they took pictures. Huge strain on the relationship, especially when they started to get bigger and there was more demand for content." Coming number 9, friends with influencers. Just because you're friends with an influencer doesn't mean that you always want to be as active online as they are. Sadly, these lines can become blurred because more often than not, an influencer feels like they're doing their friends a favor by posting about them. Another Reddit user speaks about being friends with an influencer and says, "It's annoying AF. One of my buddies is constantly filming everything we do and posting it. It's to the point where people walk up to me on the street and ask me about him because they've seen me in his posts. I have no idea who they are. It dominates everything he does and has severely impacted his personal relationships. He can't keep a girlfriend and it's clearly related to this obsession of his. He does occasionally get some cool stuff out of it though. After pretty much kicking him out of my life because I do not want to be continually posted online, we've come to the understanding that when he's about to take a pic or video, he hands me the phone so I'm not in the shot. Works okay for me." Well, as long as they've come to an understanding that they can stick with, then I guess they should be fine. Coming number 8, living on their phone. Due to the nature of being an influencer, they often spend way too much time on their phones, both posting and consuming content to keep up with whatever their perceived competition is doing. This can become extra frustrating though when you need this person to just be present. A user on Reddit recounted their experience of being friends with an athlete influencer and said, "Friends with a high-profile athlete who is pretty popular on Insta. He is always on the phone, never lives in the moment. If we are doing anything fun, well, it basically didn't happen unless the world knows about it. It's just annoying. I can't imagine living for the approval or satisfaction of others." With another adding on to this and saying, "I was with a guy at Coachella and he has a pretty good following on IG. He posted something while we were watching a concert and could not look away from his phone. I asked him when he'd eventually put his phone away and he said he would when he got over 1,000 likes. I couldn't believe it." I cannot believe that either. You're basically saying, "Hold up, let me get the drug fix real quick and then I'll get back to this concert I paid for." Coming in number 7, wannabe influencer. Believe it or not, but this next story is not as uncommon as you would think. Sometimes when people are not getting enough engagement on their posts, they will go as far as creating extra accounts to make it appear like their post is getting higher traffic. A user on Reddit recounts their experience dealing with this and said, "I know a wannabe influencer. She will reply to her own post from her husband's account praising herself. Then she will reply to those posts as herself thanking him. It's hilarious. Like Inception for Facebook." Absolutely insane behavior, and at the very least I hope her husband is aware that she is using his account to do this. Another wannabe influencer though on this thread apparently got a big dose of reality from their own mother. This other Reddit user writes, "My cousin is a wannabe influencer. She kept denying family photos at a birthday party, so her mom told her to just not be in pictures anymore. Idiot got a reality check." Oof, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Coming number 6, consumed by filters. What can really be harmful for an influencer's mental health is the use of filters or Photoshop, especially if the doctored image is the one that ends up getting the most likes. Things usually don't start with this, but they can sometimes progress this way. A user on Reddit was trying to be supportive of their influencer friend, but just couldn't find the energy anymore. They go on to say, "In the beginning they started because they got offers from brands because they were so popular on Instagram and it was a lot of fun for them. Now they don't ever post pictures or videos without a filter. Rarely ever like a picture on the first try, and don't you dare post any pictures of them without getting their approval for it. Imagine trying to get a group picture with all of your friends for your birthday, but having you take almost 100 shots to get one that your influencer friend is happy with. Also, in the beginning I would like and comment on all of their posts, but now that's not enough. They expect me to message it to others, share it on my stories and my page. I hate posting stuff to my page, but I do it anyways to be supportive. It is so tiring. They do get free things sometimes though that they sometimes share with me. Not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, probably not worth it." In at number 5, misguided jealousy. If you're the type of person that already is a teeny bit narcissistic, then gaining followers is not really gonna suddenly give you empathy. What it actually does is inflate the ego even further, and then suddenly you become convinced that everyone around you must be jealous of your success. A user on Reddit spoke about what it was like to get left behind by their influencer friend and said, "To be honest, it's really shit. I feel like I've been completely forgotten about and like I don't matter anymore. I think that's just some weird misguided jealousy, but it still hurts because I miss talking to my friend." Coming number 4, changing the narrative. Sometimes regular life is too boring to post about online, so more often than not they will add some fantastical story to their caption to make their lives seem more interesting. This user talks about losing their best friend to Instagram and says, "One of my best friends fell real hard into Instagram and for a few years it was tolerable and understandable, albeit annoying and strange. Everything needed to be documented in specific ways, so lots and lots of photos, even if it took away away from the moment. But the strange part was how when she'd share things, the caption always told a slightly different story than what actually happened. Like just off enough for me and my other friends to say, huh, that has a weird quality to it. Fast forward a couple years and she gets engaged, boom, this was the catalyst for the worst of the influencer mentality to come out. I was in the bridal party and it was a nightmare. No gratitude, just demands. Demands for expensive trips and expensive parties and all kinds of things that were above and beyond the means of her closest friends. And all of the demands were because she had a following and had certain expectations to meet, which is just what happens when you fake your life online. Coming number 3, plan shopping. Plan shopping is when someone says yes to a whole bunch of engagements or events and then they simply choose which one will help boost their clout more. Then everyone else just gets ignored or forgotten. This happens so much, and this Reddit user spoke about their experience saying, she hasn't come to anything I've invited her to in 5 years because she only goes to events that further her business. Regularly she says things like we're all using each other for something. Sometimes she texts me the exact same thing word for word over a couple of days, and it's obvious she just copy pastes the same thing and sends it to all of us and then forgets who she has sent it to. She still reaches out to me multiple times a year and claims I'm one of her best friends, but it sure doesn't feel like it. I told her as much, but she just says this is my life now. My business comes first, and if you can't accept that, then I guess you're not a real friend. I'm thinking it's the other way around. Coming number 2, the influencer trap. When you begin to give up other endeavors and chase a life of being an influencer, you can often find yourself getting trapped. Similar to the server trap, the monetary benefits seem too great to give up, and most likely if they switch careers now, their bank accounts will take a hit. This user on Reddit explains how this happened to her cousin and says, my cousin is a moderately successful Instagram model and she absolutely hates it. She hates her fans, finds them all cringy and pathetic, hates the drama and how PC it all is. In real life, she's very conservative / traditional. Only does it because it's the only way she can make money. She dropped out of school and endorsing products and taking pictures of herself is the only way she knows how to pay rent. In real life, she's basically the complete opposite of the happy, bubbly, ditzy girl she plays online, and we often laugh over some of the messages she receives, including proposals and women angry that their sons / husbands are following her. I'm sure a ton of women get that. Last but certainly not least, our number 1 spot, be passionate. I thought I would end this list on a bit of a happier note because most of these stories are quite destitute. If you want to be an influencer and you don't want to burn out, the biggest secret is that you have to be passionate about what you do. You have to truly love it and not let the opinions of others or money for certain things pull you away from why you started it all. So to leave us off, here's one last positive story about an influencer's life behind the scenes. This Reddit user says, my sister is an influencer and honestly it hasn't changed her. Most people don't change if they're truly passionate for something. Most of the time they're just happier. For my sister it was makeup and now she's really happy. Those who change aren't doing something because it's what they want anymore, it's what the consumer wants. So just remember this, don't let anyone change who you are. And I couldn't agree more. The rise to becoming an influencer can be an easy path for some that know what they're passionate about, but for many they will do anything and everything to get that clout, even if it means never being present with their loved ones. We're back, folks, for another edition of Reddit exposing the dark secrets of influencers. Coming number 10, chronically unemployed. A big trap that influencers fall into is comparing themselves to other influencers. Even if they are flaunting a life of luxury themselves, behind the scenes they can be quite frustrated by not seeing the growth that they want. This Reddit user pulls the curtain aside on what it's like being friends with an influencer who is upset with their position but acts like everything is fine. Pretty mundane. Honestly, my friend is conventionally attractive, and if you look at her social media, you'd think she were a supermodel millionaire who goes on tons of trips. She's actually chronically unemployed and has an income of less than 10k a year. Her boyfriend makes about 60k a year, which is enough to afford them a very nice 3.5 bedroom apartment, and she has tons of props she uses to make each room look different from day to day, so it seems like she's always in a new exotic place. They take 2 trips a year to fun tropical places in which she takes many photos and posts them as different places throughout the year. She's a very kind, considerate, sparkling personality, but whenever we hang out, I tend to be a shoulder to cry on as she laments about her lack of success in life. It's quite sad, honestly, but with her creativity and personality, I think she'll achieve her dreams eventually. Despite this being relatively sad, it's still important to note that this friend at least has hope that their influencer pal will achieve their dreams. Coming number 9, YouTuber assistant. Just because someone has a following on YouTube doesn't mean that they should be treated like royalty. In fact, royalty shouldn't be treated like royalty. That's my opinion though. This YouTuber assistant shared some pretty eye-opening stuff about what it was like to work with them behind the scenes, and I gotta say, none of it really surprised me. Posting their story to Reddit, they said, I worked with YouTube influencers in my last job with an agency that paired sponsors with these celebrities. I basically did the grunt work like ensuring hotels, plane tickets, getting coffee, running errands, and meeting with the talent to ensure they were where they needed to be. Over time, you make friends with others who are in those positions, especially when you're running errands for some entitled pseudo-celebrities. The nicest YouTubers were the animators, always calm and understanding. The worst were the family vloggers. I've met all the big ones, and I never met one that wasn't a completely different person off camera. The kids are always spoiled, and no one disciplines them, so they're running around breaking things or acting like idiots. And no one can yell at them lest their influencer parents find out. Close second is makeup YouTubers. I just love that they threw some shade at the makeup YouTubers in there too. Coming number 8, clickbait. Giving us another reason to hate family vloggers, this Reddit user completely exposed these small town influencers. Nothing says clueless like trying to capitalize on a tragedy tragedy for views. They go on to say, I'm from a small town and a family vlogger moved here a few years ago. A while back there was a bad wildfire about 20 to 30 miles away from us. This fire was particularly bad, people were dying, losing homes, etc. But luckily it was pretty far from us and we weren't in any danger. You could smell the smoke, but that was it. However, this family posted a total clickbait, we had to evacuate, they told us to leave, wildfire vlog. This really pissed off everyone who lived here since they were exploiting and profiting off a lie when people are actually losing everything. They were called out on all their platforms but would delete those comments. I really hate that too, when people just delete all of their negative comments. It's like, just don't look at them. Don't look at the comments. Coming number 7, fake it till you make it. We've all heard of the saying fake it until you make it, but this influencer friend really took things way too far without ever considering the repercussions. There's this idea that some people can be delusionally optimistic and achieve greatness because of how high they set the bar for themselves. Unfortunately, sometimes reality doesn't care about your delusions and will set you straight if you're not paying attention. Sadly, this is exactly what happened with our next story, and I honestly don't know if this Reddit user's friend will ever see the error of their ways. They go on to say, I post travel photos and have about 200 followers, 200, not 2,000 or higher. My friend somehow thought that was influencer status and decided to copy me, except she quit her job so she could travel more and grow her own brand. In 2020, she lost her apartment, her car, and still hasn't found a job, but calls herself a professional influencer all the same. God, I really hope she didn't order business cards with the title professional influencer on them. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Coming number 6, can't stop, won't stop. The inability for an influencer to take 3 seconds to just live in the present will 100% be why they burn out. No one can be on the internet 24/7 and constantly worrying about your image online can lead to a myriad of different insecurities. Whereas if you lived in the moment and didn't care what people thought about you, you could open up a whole new world of possibilities. However, that is just not the case with our next story. This Reddit user details her frustrations with her influencer friend and says, so incredibly annoying, I actually ended up cutting her off because everything had to be a photo opportunity. We could never just go out to lunch or see a movie without it turning into a photo shoot. She never did anything with our friend group unless it was an aesthetic, and even then she was so focused on getting us to take photos that A, she didn't get to enjoy the activity, and B, it started bringing everyone else down because they couldn't participate either. And this sounds so petty, but she could never just show up in a t-shirt and leggings because photos obviously. Like even sleepovers and movie nights had to be a big production, and sometimes you just need to stuff your face with popcorn and look like a slob. It's good for the soul. She'd also complained a lot about how hard her job was. Our friendship group at the time consisted of an EMT, 2 nurses, a teacher, and me, who was juggling university, tutoring, and working retail. I'm sure she had challenges and all jobs are hard sometimes, but girl, you get paid to take selfies with free stuff and show up at events looking pretty. I mean, she's not wrong. The last thing that you should be doing is complaining if you make money from just being yourself. Don't complain. Don't do that. Coming number 5, vacation nightmare. Going on vacation with other people can be stressful enough. Now imagine going on vacation with influencers. Goodbye whatever plans you thought you had. Even best friends fight on vacation, and now add to that someone who is only there to fake a personality and share the entire trip to their legion of fans. This Reddit user described what I have titled a vacation nightmare, and they go on to say, everything is fake. The attitude, the mannerisms, everything. It sounds stupid until you realize they clear close to 7 figures a year. One time we vacationed with them, and when we were out to dinner, they said to us, 1 second, we need to go film a bit, and they went from our friends who are calm and nice to the, hey guys, we're here in the beautiful south of France. Annoying people everyone loves to hate. That's all we need to say on that one. Everyone loves to hate those people for sure. I have seen so many influencers where they're just so bummed out and then they go to take a selfie and it's big smiles, camera goes away and it's back to Just be yourself. Coming number 4, a fake lease on life. Similar to the fake it till you make it post, this influencer really was exposed for the person that he actually was. The sad thing is that when you fake it, if you can't keep up the cost of faking it, you will fall victim to the monster that you've created all on your own. This Reddit user decided to expose an anonymous Instagram famous dude and said, one of my best friends dated a really insta famous guy. He invited us to his house for a Christmas party, and this is when I realized how fake social media was. The guy didn't have the car he paraded on social media, he leased it, took several photo shoots with it, and then gave it back. His house was in a different city than he claimed. I don't think it was for security reasons though. He said he lived in a very rich city, but his house was in a more modest place. He asked me to send him the videos I took at the party, posted them, and didn't even tag me because I didn't have enough followers. The worst part was that all the social media people at the party just kept yelling over each other trying to make the next big joke, but none of them were funny. Dude has millions of people fooled. Also, as a side note, you would be shocked by the amount of influencers that simply rent a fancy car, take photos with it, and then pretend that they bought it. shocked. Coming number 3, behind the curtain. Now this whole list is essentially us peering behind the curtain that influencers present, but this next one really hits the nail on the head. And if you want to be an influencer, you should probably heed this Reddit user's warning. They go on to say, sad, you watch them slowly mentally degrade, always ends in full-blown narcissistic personality disorder or them having literally zero self-confidence. Their goal is to meet artificial metrics in terms of likes, views, follows. For a lot of them, that's their definition of success, goal in life, and if they're not hitting it, they have failed as people in their minds. So they go one of 2 routes. Number 1 is thinking that they're really not good enough and don't deserve to be liked, which leads to a total lack of confidence and then becoming a shell of a person that they were. And number 2 is narcissism, where they come to the conclusion that they're the best person ever and no one else knows what they're talking about, and every single flaw, fault, or mistakes they have made is someone else's fault. Couldn't agree more. Heed this warning. In at number 2, taste and waste. Growing up, we could never waste food. From a young age, I realized how hard my parents worked to keep the lights on and feed me that I would have felt terrible wasting anything that they gave me. That's why this next story really, I don't know, it makes my blood start to boil. The fact that someone can just take a picture of their food and then do not eat that food blows my mind. Blows my friggin' mind. But I digress. Allow me to tell this Reddit user's story so you can understand where I'm coming from. They go on to say, I've driven 3 hours, hiked 1 hour, they took a couple of photos over about 5 minutes and then complained that they were ready to go home. Sometimes they will buy unhealthy but grammable food, take photos of them licking it, and then throwing it out. I also have a friend who, when overseas, will set alarms for like 3 AM to wake up and post their photos from the day at the peak time back home. I haven't seen them for a while. There's obviously a lot wrong with all of this, but it's the throwing out food that really angers me. So many people around the world are starving and you're just going to throw it out. I will never understand this logic, or lack thereof. Last but certainly not least, in our number 1 spot, self-worth. Sometimes these Reddit users are not just complaining about their influencer friends, sometimes we find influencers themselves coming forward with how this once dream job turned into a nightmare for them. This influencer goes on to tell their story and says, not a friend of an influencer, but I am an influencer, I guess. I have 150K on YouTube and it was so much fun to start with, but now all I feel is constant pressure. If I make one mistake, I could lose everything I've spent years building. I'm never sure whether new friends like me for me or because they want clout. Even though my content is focused on true crime and not me, having that many people watch you and comment on your appearance, the way you talk, etc. can really mess you up. Completely distorts your idea of self if you don't find ways to step back. Having non-social media friends really helps bring you back to earth and trying to treat it as a typical 9 to 5. Moderation, I believe, though, is important in everything you do, and that includes things you're passionate about. Also, this influencer highlights just how important it is to have self-worth. Plus, remember that lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Whether it's negative or positive comments, it should all be viewed the same level as some rando on the street yelling at you. That's how comments should be viewed. Ignored. But I love you guys are great.
Okay, so the dark side of influencing and being an influencer. I am ready. I have a few points for you, a lot of talking points, so stick with me. I'm gonna start with the first, which is the most headline worthy, and that is the pursuit of being an Instagrammer actually sends people legitimately insane. Firstly, a lot of people want to be influencers so badly that they're putting themselves into debt. In May 2018, 26-year-old Lisette Calverio got herself into $10,000 worth of debt for pretending to have a lifestyle that she simply couldn't afford. Why? For the gram. She said that she would buy expensive clothes and take herself on luxury trips simply so she could post pictures to her Instagram to try and boost her following and show off her aspirational life. The pressure to keep up appearances almost put her on the streets because she was so badly in debt, which is absolutely insane. Speaking of the streets, influencers are also acting crazy out and about. Recently, an article ran on multiple international news outlets about Instagrammers acting like absolute twazzocks in Chernobyl or other places with dark histories. For those of you that don't know, Chernobyl and the connecting town of Pripyat are ghost towns following a nuclear disaster in 1986. Now, in this disaster, 31 people directly died as a result, and thousands more indirectly died through radiation poisoning, so it isn't really a place for a sexy selfie. A sexy selfie is exactly what the world got from Instagrammer NZ Nick though, who posted a bum selfie in a disaster zone. Like, what is actually wrong with people? She did a topless shoot in a gas mask as well, and honestly, I'm so confused. Influencer Angel Set Free also followed suit and did an underwear shoot in Pripyat, which again, I don't get it. Are influencers so obsessed with getting the right picture that they forget common decency? It actually seems so. Decency is one thing, but influencers also neglect safety in order to get the perfect selfie too. I say influencers and I don't mean everyone. I guess it's just people that are desperately trying to stand out, but they're putting themselves in real danger. A recent Vice article claimed that hundreds of people had died taking selfies in the past few years. The pressure is so intense to have a great picture that influencers and aspiring influencers will actually die for it, and that just isn't cricket in my book. I know that we have spent a lot of time talking Instagram influencers, but content creators in general are guilty of this too. In 2018, a wannabe YouTuber, Mona Lisa Perez, was jailed for shooting her boyfriend for a video prank that went wrong. 3 Canadian YouTubers actually died from channel High on Life in 2018 when they fell down a waterfall. Like, don't mess with nature. Capture it for the gram, sure, but like, what are you thinking? A lot of influencers will tell you that heavily curated and aspirational images aren't actually real, or by the time they get to eat the food that they're posing with, it's cold. So speaking of fake, I'm really glad that Instagram and other social platforms are stamping it out, but some influencers themselves are fake. They've actually paid for followers, which, I don't know, is that some kind of fraud? Also, imagine wanting to be successful so badly that you're willing to pay for fake people to follow you just so other people think that you look good. Like, what is wrong with our generation? So away from their fake for a moment, I want to move on to discuss the effect that Instagram and other social platforms have on mental health. I talked about appearances and keeping them up being pretty stressful, and that's true. A recent study discussed in an article on the Guardian website also found that the more time people reported spending on Instagram, the more anxious and depressed they actually felt in their real life. This is everyone, not just people creating content specifically for the gram. People viewing content are feeling bad about their lives because Instagram is a pastel palace of aspiration, and the people actually creating the viral images are feeling bad because they're kind of living a bit of a lie. Like, I never share images of my hair in like a Vicky Pollard style messy bun in my pajamas eating a microwave dinner because literally no one wants to see that, but that is also an authentic part of my life. Is Instagram asking us to be inauthentic, and what further psychological implications does that have? There have been further studies about the mental health implication of likes on social media. This has led to Instagram as a platform trialing the removal of likes. Now, I can tell you firsthand that it is hard not to associate your value as a human with the number of social media likes, which is actually ridiculous. This year, a viral story sent the internet into a frenzy when mum blogger Katie Bauer revealed that her 6-year-old son receives the least amount of likes on Instagram out of all of her children. Like, A, how is she even counting and noticing that? And B, like, what? That should never be an actual thing. But like, in a really deep and sick way, as an influencer, I kind of understand. I know what people prefer to see and good business practices to keep up engagement. I worry as well about people doing things they aren't comfortable with for likes. For example, it's an observable trend that females get more likes and popularity the less clothing they're wearing on social platforms. Now, I personally wouldn't bow to that pressure, but there are more impressionable people that would. And what about young girls who want to make it as influencers? Would they be encouraged to show more of their bodies than they might be comfortable with in order to get internet famous? It's actually pretty gross, and that's without even wading into the swamp that is the comments section. A couple more things before we round it out, but another murky area about being an influencer is how much people actually care about you. Why are the people following you? Like, what are they following you for? Do they just want to look at you? How many people are actually being influenced by your actions? Yes, for a lot of us it is trackable and profitable, but a big reach doesn't necessarily mean big engagement. Recently there was a story about an Instagrammer with 2.6 million followers that couldn't sell 36 t-shirts. 2.6 million followers couldn't sell 36 shirts. Like, what? I don't know what went wrong there, but that is absolutely shocking. Finally, one of the darkest truths about being an influencer is that actually, old media kind of wants you to fail. Notice how many headlines there are out there about YouTubers and Instagrammers not doing things right and failing. PewDiePie was absolutely crucified by the Wall Street Journal. The Daily Mail comes after influencers daily. Why? Because self-made celebrities scare them, and honestly I'm a little bit glad. Maybe this is a bright side of being an influencer, but it throws off traditional power structures. Having to pander to executives and producers and do Weinstein-esque favors to be famous is still a thing, but it's becoming more of a story of the past as people turn to their own creations. Creators can march to the beat of their own drums even if it is stressful, without having to rely on old world money platforms. They can gain their own following and use their own voice, and it scares old media, it really does, the way YouTube scares traditional broadcast television. Can influencers be trusted as content creators? Old media are gonna keep on coming after them until they take the power back, although I personally don't know if they can. As inauthentic as being an influencer can be, it's a darn side more authentic than a lot of scripted media and reality TV shows out there. So
the most successful channel on YouTube right now is hosted by a 7-year-old kid. He makes more money than the most subscribed YouTuber, PewDiePie, more money than Logan, and Jake Paul. Currently sitting at 21 million subscribers and 31 billion views, Ryan Toy's Review is YouTube's passion project, an attempt to make the platform more family and more advertiser friendly. But at what cost? This is the dark truth about Ryan Toy's Review. So before all you 5-year-olds come for me in the comments, you should know this. I'm not criticizing a 7-year-old kid. He doesn't know any better. His parents are the ones running his channel. What I want to address in this video is a wider problem on YouTube that's finally being brought to light by organizations like Truth in Advertising and the Federal Trade Commission, who have accused Ryan Toy's Review of, quote, deceptively promoting a multitude of products to millions of preschool-aged children in violation of FTC law. Ryan Toy's Review is unlike other YouTube channels in that pretty much all of his videos are an advertisement for whatever toy Ryan is playing with or unboxing or reviewing. Every single video. But is he actually enjoying the toy, or was he paid to enjoy the toy on camera? Ryan is one of the biggest child influencers on the planet, if not the biggest. When he plays with a toy, there's a very high chance that it will sell out. Advertisers know how much power this kid has, and they definitely take advantage. I'm gonna tell you why this is a problem. Human beings are becoming extremely susceptible to advertising, and part of that reason is because companies know how to predict our behavior, so that they advertise products to us when we're thinking about making a purchase. If you haven't seen the documentary The Great Hack, I highly recommend it. It goes into this phenomenon in way more detail, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna give you just a small example. I was hanging out with a friend of mine and we were looking at lenses for iPhones on his phone, not my phone, so we weren't searching it up on my phone. We had about a 10-minute conversation about it the other day. Then all of a sudden, the next day, I started seeing advertisements for the exact product I was looking at on someone else's phone on my Instagram feed. The same company, the same 58mm lens. How is that possible? Is it a coincidence? No, it's not. See, me, I'm a critical thinker. I can see that and be like, listen, that's weird. I'm not gonna click on that ad. But the problem with YouTube promoting channels like Ryan Toy's Review is it shows YouTube only cares about one thing and one thing only: money. Advertising. And children under 5, even though they aren't even supposed to be allowed to use YouTube according to the terms of service, are the most vulnerable class of people because they're unable to identify television commercials and separate them from regular programming. And guess what? Ryan Toy's Review has been warned about this before. There was a Karu investigation in 2017 into Ryan's channel that had already found that sponsored content was not adequately disclosed. Karu recommended that Ryan's videos feature a disclosure at the beginning of each video to identify sponsored content. Ryan Toy's Review ignored this recommendation and continued business as usual, which is why this recent, more severe complaint was launched in late August of 2019. Here's a direct quote from the complaint. A preschooler's cognitive ability to identify and understand that they are being presented with marketing materials is generally lacking. They added that the FCC prohibits ads in television shows for children under the age of 12 for this reason. But YouTube isn't TV. It's not being regulated in the same way. Yet because YouTube is free, and also because YouTube is becoming the new TV, the amount of kids that are watching this platform has grown substantially in recent years. Yet the rules for advertising on this platform haven't been enforced the way they are on TV. Ryan Toy's Review has done brand deals and sponsorship videos with brands like Chuck E. Cheese, Walmart, Hasbro, Nickelodeon, and Netflix. Yet in many cases you can't tell the advertisement from the actual content in the video. The lines are blurred, which is why Truth in Advertising has accused Ryan Toys Review's sponsored videos of deceiving millions of young children on a daily basis. Truth in Advertising's executive director Bonnie Patton said in a statement, I quote, "Kidfluencers like Ryan Toys Review have taken influencer marketing a step too far. Targeting a vulnerable population that cannot differentiate marketing from organic content is deceptive, and the Federal Trade Commission needs to take a stand and put an end to it." In recent years, the FTC and other organizations have issued stark organizations to influencers about clearly disclosing their brand deals and sponsorships whenever they post them. Now influencers have to clearly state that whatever section of the video features branded content is an ad, and the video or post itself has to say either ad or sponsored, and it can't be hidden in the hashtags. It has to be clearly visible so everyone knows that that influencer was paid to make that post. But many influencers still don't abide by these laws. And yes, they are laws. Google, the company that owns YouTube, has gotten into a huge amount of trouble over this problem before. They've agreed to pay $170 million to settle an investigation into YouTube's alleged violation of a child privacy law. But at this time, there is no way to punish channels like Ryan Toys Review for not properly disclosing brand partnerships, because Ryan Toys Review brings in lots of money. We will keep you guys updated on the investigation into Ryan Toys Review, but for now, I want you guys to really pay attention to how advertisements and social media platforms make you buy things. The next time you see something you want to buy because a particular influencer is posting about it, or maybe you see an Instagram ad that's like, I was just talking about that the other day. You need to ask yourself, do I really need to buy this product, or am I being manipulated to believe that I won't be happy unless I do?
This video is not meant to damage or harm anyone's reputation.
So if you didn't already know, David Dobrik's massive rise to fame has been in large part due to his vlog squad of friends that he is in every single video, with new members coming in and out of the group constantly. And Seth Francois, who is now speaking out, was a big part of the squad about 4 years ago. But with all the racial injustice being talked about currently, Seth took this opportunity to speak out about the racial injustice he felt when he was a part of the vlog squad. Seth posted a video to his Instagram and YouTube accounts where he wrote a long caption in summary saying that he apologizes for the harm he caused to his culture and community by taking part in some racist jokes in David's videos. Some examples he gives in the video are when two friends are doing blackface and Seth catches them in the act. Another one, Seth goes to get a drink and the whole fridge is filled with watermelons, which is a racial stereotype.
Coming over, he's our only black friend. Don't ruin this for me, okay? This is Alex, you probably already know. What's
Hey Seth, you want something to drink?
Come on, Alex.
And lastly, where David jokes about turning Seth into the police because he had a warrant out for his arrest. And in the video, Seth claims that he doesn't think that David or any of the members are racist, but he just hopes David will speak out about these past jokes and condemn them, as they caused a lot of pain and regret in Seth's life. After the video was posted, it got a lot of negative feedback from the viewers, with people saying Seth was clout chasing and taking advantage of the current movement to get clicks online. Also with people asking if he messaged David or Jason directly instead of just putting them on blast. After Seth received mainly negative criticism on the video, he posted another where he shows people praising him on his own casting business, showing he's not trying to clout chase and he has his own ventures. Then he also decided to do an interview with Dirty Don, who's another past Vlog Squad member, where he spoke more on the situation and spoke more about the pain and regret those videos caused for him, as he got backlash in his own community for them.
So we could take over this, and you know, we did it, and I'm happy to be here with you, my dog. I'm proud of you as well, because you were the face, and now we're transitioning into a whole new age.
Also bringing up another Vlog Squad member, Big Nick, and how he was miserable in the Vlog Squad as well, as he was the butt of many jokes because of his size, as he has a condition called dwarfism, along with some other health issues that caused him to be singled out. Seth also spoke on how once he brought up some of these issues to David took a lot of these past videos down, but he is still hoping for David to use his platform to condemn his past mistakes. In the video, he also praised Alex Ernst, another former Vlog Squad member, for letting Seth go live on his Instagram account to spread his message even further. And it looks like this is the story for now. David hasn't addressed the situation publicly at all, and since it looks like Seth is going to be continuing to speak out about it until he gets some sort of response, it's possible David will say something about it soon, but David generally doesn't speak out about these sorts of situations, so who really knows? For my opinion, because I'm a long-time David Dobrik viewer, I definitely understand that some of David's jokes might have been harmful in the past, and I actually remember watching some of his old videos and thinking that David might get in trouble for some of his jokes that he was saying. But considering he doesn't really make these kind of jokes anymore and has spoken out and donated to BLM organizations, it seems like he's really grown and understands that he needs to use his platform wisely. So that's why I feel David is definitely being supported by his fans in this situation. So if you don't already know what the Frenemies podcast is, it's essentially the best place for tea on the entire internet right now. And that's because it's hosted by Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein, both hilarious personalities with a lot of internet drama that they discuss on the podcast. And on their February 2nd podcast called the David Dobrik and Jason Nash episode, they got into detail about Trisha's negative experience with the group that led her to being kicked out and making tons of videos exposing the group too. In the long podcast, she spoke of the toxic environment of the group and how David was essentially the ringleader who controlled everyone around him. The most persistent joke that Trisha hated were jokes about her and her then boyfriend Jason partaking in a threesome with Tana Mojo. And obviously that is a very inappropriate joke to make. So Trisha begged David to stop making those videos, but David still did, even after saying that he wouldn't. Trisha even claims these jokes made Tana feel weird too, but she was never super vocal about it. This resulted in Trisha getting kicked out of the group. Jason also broke up with her because David told him to. All of this drama then led OG Vlog Squad member Nick Kazwani, better known as Big Nick, to come on the H3 podcast with Ethan and Ela Klein to discuss his time in the group. And oh boy, tea was spilled. In the clip uploaded February 6th, Nick talks about why he left the group in 2018. And if you didn't already know, Kazwani has dwarfism, and David often used that as the butt of his jokes in his vlogs. In the podcast, Nick said these jokes really took a toll on his mental health, and they really affected how he saw himself. In the interview, Nick flat out said, quote, "It's kind of like a cult. I would come home so drained, just like mentally." Nick says that he still likes David and Jason, but members of the squad would gossip about him and others in private, and a lot of the members were pretty arrogant. When Nick started to hang out with Dobrik, he had more than 3 times his following on Vine. But when the vlogs got popular and David started to be more popular, the dynamics of the group changed and David would use people for punchlines. Nick said in the podcast, quote, "I did allow it and that's partially my fault. For David to disrespect me in the videos, and so everyone else got in the notion of, oh, okay, we can disrespect Big Nick too, because our master does it. I'm fully responsible for allowing it. I'm just kind of disappointed that nobody really thought it was wrong." Nick even said these jokes would translate over to real life, and David's fans would mock him in public when they saw him. This of course made him feel even worse about himself, saying, quote, "For a long time I felt worthless being in those videos. I was like, dude, why am I even here? What's the point of my existence? Because I was just treated like this punching bag." He went on to say how Scotty Sire and Jason Nash were 2 of the only members who defended him and were nice to him. Then Nick said he did approach David about the jokes and how he didn't want jokes about his height to be in the videos anymore. David agreed to that request, but cut him from the vlogs as a result. Kazwani also said that he talked to David privately in December of 2019 about feeling used and that David apologized to him. Nick went on to say that he was not the only person who was treated badly and teased, and apparently the group would make tons of negative jokes about Alex Ernst as well, which is even crazier to me because I always thought that Alex Ernst was David's best friend. So it feels very strange that he would, ridicule him like that. Apparently the jokes involving Alex were making fun of the fact that he could potentially be a, quote, school shooter. Apparently members of the vlog squad would even gossip about David when he wasn't around, with Nick adding, quote, "I knew a girl who was hooking up with one of them, and she would overhear conversations of people in that group talking badly about David when David wasn't around." And coincidentally, after all this tea was spilled over the last week, David just decided to return to YouTube and post on his channel again. The last time David uploaded was 3 months ago on his second channel and 9 months ago on his main channel. So not sure if his return is a business decision to take attention away from, all the exposing that's going down. I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but personally, I think it looks a little suspicious. David Dobrik has finally responded to allegations against him and his vlog squad that have been mounting for months, and even in some cases, years. But fans are not happy. On March 16th, David Dobrik uploaded his 2.5-minute apology video at midnight to his smallest YouTube channel, The Views channel, with 1.68 million subscribers as of now, which is nothing compared to the almost 19 million subscribers on his main channel. And if you didn't know about all the controversy surrounding David and the vlog squad before watching his video, then you definitely would not know why he's apologizing, as the video was incredibly vague. David titled the video, "Let's Talk," but was immediately hypocritical when he turned off comments on that video, as well as turned off the likes to dislikes ratio. All the tactics used here are to suppress the video from being seen, as well as suppress the thoughts of upset viewers. David starts off the video vaguely saying that he's going to be addressing some conversations that have been going on online. These conversations are allegations from former Vlog Squad members Seth Francois and Nick Hezwani, aka Big Nick. Seth was a part of a terrible prank and has accused David of committing SA in that prank, which is an acronym for the inappropriate conduct in that prank. Nick also spoke about the toxic culture in the group and how he was teased on and offline for his dwarfism. David's recent apology also came the day after Insider published a massive expose on serious allegations of sexual misconduct by David and the squad, but specifically Dirty Dom. In his video, Dobrik said, quote, "Consent is something that's super important to me. Whether I'm shooting with a friend or I'm shooting with a stranger, I make sure whatever video I'm putting out, I have the approval from that person." Then he goes on to address Seth specifically, who has been begging for an apology from David on this matter since mid-2020. Adding, quote, "With the Seth situation, I am sorry to Seth. I just want to make videos where everyone who is participating is enjoying and having a good time. I missed the mark with that one and I am really sorry. I truly am." David then went on to say that he's decided to take down old videos himself that no longer represent him, as well as decided to distance himself from other people over the years who have disappointed him. Here he named Dom specifically, with David adding that he does not stand for any misconduct. Then on the topic of consent, David added that if people change their minds about a video later, he will take that video down. Finishing off the video saying the bad things in his past videos will not happen again, and he hopes to prove that to fans with his actions. So obviously this video is bad for many reasons. Firstly, he suppressed the video by putting it on his smallest channel, and he decided to address these serious allegations in only a 2.5-minute video, when there's a lot more problematic behavior in old videos that he didn't take the time to address. Also, the sheer fact that it took him so long to address these things is very upsetting to a lot of fans, especially since Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas have been speaking out against David for months on their podcast Frenemies. The release of the apology video was also timed very suspiciously. Uploaded the same day a shocking article was published by Insider revealing a story about a girl, who used the pseudonym Hannah, who was in one of Dobrik's vlogs back in 2018. To summarize the article, Hannah and her friends were in talks with Vlog Squad member Dominika Zaglatius, better known as Dirty Dom, and they were trying to arrange for Dom to have a fivesome with these girls for the vlog. However, when the girls arrived and did not want to sleep with Dom, David and the rest of the group allegedly pushed them to drink, to the point that Hannah ended up sleeping with Dom but was too inebriated to legally consent. If you want more detail, I'd highly suggest you read that Insider article. Another shady move by David was the fact that one of the Vlog Squad's most beloved members, Scotty Sire, posted an entire video to his YouTube channel a few weeks ago defending David while trying to make Seth look like a liar. With people believing that Scotty's video was orchestrated by David, that video is now deleted. And to refresh you on Seth's allegations, there was one vlog uploaded in 2017 called "He Thought He Was Kissing Her," super cringy, where David made Seth think that he was going to be kissing Corinna Kopp, a girl that Seth was interested in. But it was revealed later that the person he was actually kissing was Jason Nash, a 47-year-old man at the time of this recording. So David duped him, and Seth didn't consent to kissing Jason. In the now deleted video, Scotty says that the prank was discussed 3 times overall, and Scotty actually shared a text message conversation between David and Seth, where Seth requested for the prank to happen a 3rd time. Scotty also alleged that Seth gave consent for the prank to happen a 2nd time that was not caught on video. All in all, the video did not prove that Seth consented the 1st time, and it got tons of backlash from Seth's supporters, which caused Scotty to later remove the video and address the backlash in his community tab. But the smoking gun in Scotty's video against David was that David must have recently recorded himself looking at his text messages with Seth and then sent those text messages to Scotty, so Scotty would be the one to address it, and David wouldn't have to. Because you could hear David's voice in the video where he's reading out the text messages with Seth. So clearly David and his friends have been discussing this amongst themselves, and David sent all of them his receipts. I think the last point to address here is where we go from here. I think in situations like this, it's difficult to predict what could happen because YouTubers have received similar backlash in the past and have ended up coming back unscathed. However, the bigger issue here is the legality of it all. And for all we know, the woman in this Insider article might be thinking of pressing legal charges against Dom and even David and the other people who were present the night of that incident. And for that matter, Seth could also be pursuing legal charges for all we know. David and his team generally avoid any backlash until it goes away, so they might be doing that again. And I think unless more comes out, this will probably be the last time that David himself addresses this. But like with anything in life, time will tell. However, since he uploaded that apology video, David has lost 100,000 subscribers on his main channel. So this could be the beginning of the end.
Hi guys, it's 1:45 in the morning and I'm finally by myself, which I know it doesn't sound that crazy to be by yourself at 1:45 in the morning, but this week's been pretty hectic.
David Dobrik is back in the news again after his first apology did not go over so well. The YouTube star has been embroiled in controversy over the last few weeks after allegations of started being thrown his way. Now he has admitted that his last apology was cowardly, and today we're going to be breaking it all down. After David Dobrik released an apology on March 16th titled Let's Talk, a number of people were displeased with his initial response to the allegations that have been swirling online. The main focus was the allegations that have been brought against former Vlog Squad member Dirty Dom. These incidents date back to a video from late 2018, and despite apologizing for posting them and associating with Dom in his last video, David decided to call his original response cowardly, as I mentioned earlier, which is pretty much on par with how people viewed that first response. Just having the comments turned off really rubbed people the wrong way. However, in his second apology video titled 03/22/21, David left that comment section wide open for any and all criticism. He even goes back over the stuff with Dom and says, "I fully believe the woman that came out against Dom and said that she was by him. I got consent to post the video, but even though I got consent, I should have never posted it. What I understand now is she sent that text because she felt like she had to, and that's f***ed up." Adding, "It was cowardly of me to say in my last apology that I missed the mark, because it's gross and I'm sorry." David would go on to say that he is planning on taking a short break from social media because he understands it would feel weird if he just tried to, go right back to normal. Dobrik explains this further by saying, "It doesn't feel right now to go back to posting how I had been, and it doesn't feel right to go dark because I love what I do, but I feel like it's important to show that change is possible and I'm learning. Maybe even forgiveness is possible." The main reason for this second video though was to really apologize again for how he initially had reacted to the allegations made against Dom. He now fully recognizes that he was wrong to have taken Dom's word for what happened in those situations, and that he didn't believe the victim. David goes on to say, "Not only did I not believe you, but I made a joke about what kind of a person Dom was because I couldn't wrap my head around a childhood friend of mine actually doing this to people. Not only did I discredit you, Ellie, but I platformed Dom and I platformed in a negative way where I made jokes about it and I reinforced that kind of behavior. I really let you down and a lot of people down. I didn't go back to any of these women and apologize. I kind of moved on and I learned from it, but I didn't address the situation." By this he means that even with a public apology, he still felt remorse for never privately reaching out to the victims and letting them know that he was sorry. A public apology is great, but if you've ever been victimized by someone, there needs to be a direct apology as well, and it seems as though David is finally understanding this. He goes on to say, "I didn't reach out to any of these people and it breaks my heart knowing that I was doing all this stuff while there were people still really hurt by what I made." Since these allegations came up in March regarding Dom, David has also been accused of fostering a toxic workplace on his YouTube channel. He was unaware that he had basically built a power dynamic that was causing those around him to agree to things that they weren't exactly comfortable with. Now initially when I said that David would be taking a break from social media, he also made sure to add that he was not going away forever. He is still a content creator at heart, but he wants to take the time necessary to set up a better environment, which would mean hiring, say, a human resources person for people to discuss issues they have without fear of being persecuted by their boss, aka David Dobrik. Either way though, we hope this sort of thing never has to happen again and that the parties involved have learned their lesson.
The Suicide Force video. Like, David, shut the fuck up, dude. For real, like, time to move on. We get it, you're hot shit now, but I think I can speak for everyone who knows you. If you keep this attitude up, your time is coming.
David Dobrik has been a content creator for a very long time now, and although him and his vlog squad have taken over YouTube, it seems as though they are now falling apart. Coming in number 10, Logan Paul.
I walked in here during the party yesterday in the garage, this room, by the way, off limits, and David Dobrik and Corinna were sitting on the set.
Now, despite having praised David Dobrik in the past for his content creating abilities, Logan Paul has called David out on a number of occasions. In particular, Paul claimed that David had actually broken into the set of his Impulsive podcast during a party in June of 2019. He noted that David never asked for permission and alluded that Dobrik was most likely filming a vlog where Logan would be the butt of the joke. Now, Twitter users are pointing to a specific episode of Impulsive though, where Logan actually spoke at length, exposing David and the vlog squad for a number of controversies. His main issue with David was that he would not drop the Japan forest video that Logan had recorded years back. He made sure to let David know that if he keeps this self-righteous attitude up, that his time will come too. Coming in number 9, Liza Koshy. There has been many things that led up to the destruction of David Dobrik's career. One of those was the lockdowns in LA. This immediately stunted what he was able to do with his usual high-octane vlog videos. On top of that, he was under fire for sporadically pretending to speak in Japanese while picking through snacks with his ex-girlfriend Liza. He also began pretending to read the packages, even at one point saying, "It's not racist, that's like the sounds I hear when they talk." After he makes the comment about how his actions are not racist, Koshy replies with, No, it's not racist as long as I keep saying no. Then throughout 2 videos, she continues to say no every time Dobrik mocks speaking Japanese, which obviously doesn't stop it from coming off as racist, and he felt the full force of the internet on that one. Coming number 8, H3H3. Ethan Klein from the H3H3 podcast has no bones about exposing YouTuber David Dobrik, and he has warned people about the problematic content creator before. Recently, he took to Twitter to call out David and his close friend Scotty Sire for trying to cover up Seth Francois' sexual allegations. In a tweet warning people about David Dobrik, Ethan said, "I have a lot to say about the Scotty video. Right now, I just want to say that it's sad that David sent his most liked friend out to victim shame and threaten Seth. Disposable isn't just the name of his new app, it's also how he feels about his friends." Coming in number 7, Seth Francois. Continuing off our last point about Ethan Klein's role in the downfall of David Dobrik, I must also point out the episode of H3 After Dark where Seth revealed that David forced him to kiss 47-year-old Jason Nash. According to Seth, it was all done against his will and that the incident was the final straw. Following this, he immediately left the vlog squad and even permanently relocated to Atlanta. Seth went on to explain how this makeout prank transpired, saying, "It was a video where David set up with Jason Nash and Karina Kopp and said that I was supposed to do a makeout scene with Karina and he was going to have her in an old man mask and then switched her out with Jason Nash. After Jason pulled off his mask, I realized that I was just touched by someone I did not consent to." Now what's terrible about this experience was that this isn't even the first time Seth's tried to warn people about David's behavior. On June 2nd, 2020, he posted a video titled "Accountability to All Creators." In that video, he apologized for being part of problematic content that the Vlog Squad had filmed in the past, much of which was referring to him as simply being the Vlog Squad's token black friend. Coming in number 6, Scotty Sire. So after a number of weeks where none of the allegations were addressed by anyone in the Vlog Squad, Scotty decided to take a shot at Seth Francois, as Ethan mentioned earlier. After being immediately met with backlash though, he backtracked his comments and took aim at the Vlog Squad instead. In the apology that he posted on March 8th, Scotty said, "First of all, I would like to apologize to anyone who feels as though I disrespected or invalidated their story. That was never my intention and I mean that so sincerely. I let emotion get the better of me and I chose my approach and many of my words poorly. I chose to make the video and share my opinion. I expected it to be analyzed and picked apart, but I had not expected it to hurt so many people, and so I've made the decision to remove the video from my channel." Now, although David was not directly mentioned in this warning, it was an apology attempt after he defended David Dobrik's actions. Coming in number 5, Carly Contro and Aaron Gilfoy. In addition to the multiple Vlog Squad members that are coming forward to speak their truth, we also had a warning from former members Carly and Aaron. In a nearly 3-minute video posted to their joint channel, the ladies clarify a number of things. First of all, they said that no one has told them not to speak about the allegations and that they just needed time to process the news. Carly goes on to say, "The article came out, we read it the same time as you guys, and I mean obviously we think it's disgusting what happened and none of that is okay." Aaron also adds that neither of them were present the night that Hannah said her assault by Dom took place. Now unfortunately, despite calling out Dom, they neglected to name David and other members that were present that night. Aaron just wished for everyone involved to take accountability and continue to learn why their involvement with the situation had an effect on it. Coming in number 4, Natalie Noel. Following Carly and Aaron speaking out against the Vlog Squad, Natalie, who is David's assistant and close friend, also broke her silence. She posted to her Instagram story saying, "I spent a lot of time thinking about the recent allegations and because of the severity, it's taking me time to process. Like many of you, I'm upset and angry and do not condone the behavior detailed in the article or any misconduct for that matter. I want to make it clear that I acknowledge, hear, and support those who came forward, and I stand by the victims." And I mean, for his assistants to speak out on the matter, then you know for sure that they have not been told to stay quiet by anyone. I say that because I know that there was a rumor going around on Twitter that his people were protecting him. Again, without naming, you know who is at the helm of all of this debauchery. It's David Dobrik, and anyone reading through the lines on these several statements can see that. But don't take my word for it, I have several more examples coming up where David is expressly being called out. Coming in number 3, Nick Kiswani. Nick's allegation towards David and the Vlog Squad could be the real ace in the hole that took down David. While appearing on the H3H3 podcast, Nick shared that his time with the Vlog Squad severely damaged his mental health, and that in addition to this, he already suffers from a rare form of dwarfism that resulted in him becoming blind in his left eye. While he was with the Vlog Squad, Nick was repeatedly mocked for his height and his disabilities. He goes on to tell Ethan, "I felt worthless being in those videos. I was like, dude, why am I even like here? What's the point of my existence? Because I was just being treated like this punching bag." In addition to this, he also called the group as a whole toxic and very much like a cult, adding that he would often come home mentally drained from filming with them and constantly being stressed about how he was going to escape from this. Coming in number 2, Danielle Bergoli. Believe it or not, but even rapper Bad Baby has joined other influencers in calling out David Dobrik. In a quote tweet attached to a video posted by Ethan Klein, Danielle said, "I got my own story about these two creepy f***s and he owe me money." Yikes, this is one person that you do not want to owe money. Danielle also added some fuel to the cancellation of David Dobrik after Ethan Klein said, "David's MCN is trying to remove this clip from the internet. This is straight up assault, and he did it to him twice. Absolutely infuriating to hear him talk about it so joyously, knowing the trauma it caused Seth, which does suggest that someone on David's team may be trying to bury some of the content that does make David look bad. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Trisha Paytas. Perhaps one of David Dobrik's most vocal critics, Trisha Paytas has been calling him out for a long time now, but unfortunately no one would listen. In defense of what happened to Seth, Trisha said, "I was really triggered by what Seth said because I've been dealing with this now for 2 years from David fans and just other people who love to deem me as crazy." Not too long after this, a video resurfaced where Trisha is clearly confronting both David and Jason Nash about the makeup prank with Seth. In the clip, you can hear her saying that Jason always threatens to leave her whenever she questions his content, and David is constantly gaslighting her, saying that being mad about the prank is just crazy. I mean, have a look for yourself.
She was upset that I was going to make out with Seth, and so I flipped out.
You being mad about the Seth.
Well, that's not true. I was here.
Being mad about the Seth makeout thing is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I said to you specifically, don't have a makeout with guys, girls, moms. I don't care. Like, I don't.
What if he was in a movie and he had to do that?
It's not a movie. It's David's vlogs. No one.